Okay, so now we're going to talk about acquisition of data and information and input components. This is scary stuff. I know it's kind of dry, but we have to get through it so we can talk more about how we actually utilize things in the computer. So acquisition of data. We use input devices in the computer, like the keyboard, the mouse, the joystick, although I've never played a computer game. Game controllers or pads, web camera, the stylus, which is like those pens that you can use on your personal tablet, image scanners for copying a digital image, other plug-and-play input devices such as digital cameras, recorders, MP3, electronic musical instruments, a physiologic monitor, right? We can check people's vitals with a plug-in. And these devices are the origin or medium used to input text, visual, audio, or multimedia data into the computer system. So that raw data that we use later. And this data is viewed, listened, manipulated, created, or edited. The two primary input devices on the computer are the keyboard and the mouse. Okay? And so now we think about output components. We talked about input, now we're talking about the output. All right, throughput and processing. Before we talk about output, I apologize. So specific software is used depending on the application and data involved. So a key hardware component, the computer monitor, is a unique example of a visible throughput component because it's part of the computer that focuses on most when users are working on the computer. Like right now, I am staring at my monitor. Input data can be visualized and accessed by manipulating the mouse and keyboard input devices. And it's the monitor that receives the user attention. Monitor is critical for the efficient rendering during this part of the cycle because it facilitates your access and control of the data information. If you don't have a monitor, you don't know what information you are seeing and what to do next, right? So the monitor is a visual display. It serves as the landscape for all interactions between user and machine. It typically resembles a TV screen and comes in a bunch of sizes, and they're based on the ray tubes that are put in there, and you can have touch screen as well. They vary in their refresh rates, right? And the faster the refresh rate, the cleaner and clearer the image of the screen because the monitor refreshes the screen more constantly. All right, and so now let's talk about dissemination output components. Output devices carry data in a usable form through exit devices in or attached to a computer, right? So common forms are printed documents, audio and video files, physiologic summaries, scan results, save files on portable disk drives such as CD or flash drives or external hard drives. Output devices literally put data and information at the user's fingertips, which can then be used to develop knowledge and even wisdom. The most commonly used output devices include printers, speakers, portable disks. Printers are external components that can be attached to a computer using a printer cord that is secured into the computer printer. And there's also digital ones. Speakers are computers have all sorts of speakers. I'm not going to get into that. So what's the relationship of computer science to knowledge, right? Scholars and researchers are just beginning to understand the effects that computer systems, architects, applications, process have on the potential for knowledge acquisition and development. And I know you're like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. What are you talking about? But what is it? What is the connection between computer science to knowledge? Well, understanding the science of the computer, understanding how you input, process, and output knowledge is going to help you further along the technological advances that come into healthcare. Being that super user, understanding why the importance of that technology exists and also how to use it is going to further your knowledge acquisition anyway. So you're able to contribute to the development of knowledge through the use of productive, creative, and communicative software. Using the World Wide Web interface, users are also able to disseminate knowledge on a grand scale with other users, right? Exchanging information. And this chapter, we're not discussing the validity of that information, but that is something that's important to do. So we have all this information available, and we have to master and organize the knowledge so that all this information so that knowledge can actually emerge. Like I said before, I'm trying to really quickly figure out how to treat someone for something. And if I just Googled it, I'm going to get like 50 million hits on how to treat information. I need a database where it's organized so I can master that knowledge and quickly take care of my patient. Discernment and the ability to critique and filter this information has to be present to facilitate further development. So like I said, when people come in and they're like, oh my gosh, I read on the internet that water causes cancer. Okay, well obviously they're not using a program that's helping them properly disseminate and critique and filter information to develop their knowledge base. So what is the human technology interface? In the context of using a computer system, the human technology interface is facilitated by the input and output devices discussed previously in this chapter. So, hello, the keyboard, the mouse, the monitor, the laser, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff are viable devices for us to interface with a computer. I type an email on my keyboard. I'm interfacing with the computer. I am recording this via webcam. I'm interfacing with you guys via my digital camcorder. So that is the human technology interface. When you type something in to text somebody, that is what they're talking about. So looking to the future, let's talk about the coming trends toward wearable technology, smaller, faster handheld portable computer systems, so that you can have that instant data processing, high quality voice activated invention. Have you seen at some of those web places at Walgreens where a doctor can like touch you through the computer joystick to perform an assessment? That's pretty darn good. There's virtual reality, simulation technology. Think about how far we've come in surgeries where we have robotics going in and out. We're interfacing with technology in order for that robot to actually work. So since the beginning of the profession, nurses have applied their ingenuity, resourcefulness, professional awareness of what works to adapt technology and objects to support nursing care, usually with the intention of promoting efficiency, right, and better client comfort and healing. So our resourcefulness with technology needs to be applied so that we can adapt the information technology within the care environment to ensure that the technology is truly serving the client and the nurses. So sometimes it's easy to say, I'm not going to get involved with that technology. It's not my job, but it is our job. It's our job to understand that human technology interface that betters our nursing care. So let's do a little application scenario. Dan P. is a first-year student in his graduate studies in nursing. In the past, he learned to use his family's personal computer to surf the World Wide Web, exchange emails with friends, play some computer games. Now, however, Dan realized that the computer is a vital tool for his academic success. He saved up and got himself a laptop computer. He decided on the Pentium CPU with 4 gigabytes of RAM, and he wishes to choose the appropriate software. So let's think about this. What software is going to be beneficial for him? So we're thinking like operating system, the productivity software, the creativity and communication. Okay, he's in nursing school. So what creativity software do we have? Well, I'm in my doctorate study, and it's a very technologically based curriculum. And so I use Keynote. I use Explain Everything. I use Prezi. These are ways for me to present information in a different way. I have an anatomy app that helps me break down the human body. And so how do I afford to install these software services? So looking for open software sources. When you are considering, if you're an office manager and you're talking about what type of EMR you use, this is really important stuff. You're talking about the technology you're buying and the software you're buying and the program that you're buying in order to further patient care. So the field of computer science is one of the fastest growing disciplines. Astonishing innovations in computer hardware, software, and architecture have occurred over the past few decades, and there's no indication that this trend is going to stop anytime soon. Computers have developed in speed, accuracy, and efficiency, and it's also cost less and reduced in size. And it helps us with productivity through its creative and communicative software tools and its productive software tools.